gerbil. I'm going through a wormhole.
What is that?
Yeah. Look. Laughing all the way to the bank. All these hoes falling for me like a prank. I went to jail. Cause in public I tried to have a wank. If you leave your child unsupervised in public, he finna get yanked. They out here abducting kids, and they ain't gonna lie about it. They're selling you cap like lids. Whew. That was Industrial Society and Its Consequences type beat by Seal Tooth. Shout out. Keep on sending me that flame. Let me take this off. I don't need that no more. Welcome back to Atomized Young Man. Turns on a camera, plugs in a microphone, and talks about his opinions and problems and throws them onto the void of the internet with hopes that some people might relate to it, so we can feel less disconnected as we become continually atomized through, certain processes that are going on. Just a little update about my masturbatory habits. I know everybody is dying to hear about it. Streak is going good, but I've been nutting in my sleep an awful lot recently, a suspicious amount. Beginning to think there's some sort of a man or an invader coming into my private quarters in the dead of night and jacking me off. Just with a with sleight of hand, because I'm not a super heavy sleeper. Because under normal circumstances, you get maybe 1 or 2 nocturnal busts per month, right? If you're retaining your seed like a real Sigma male. So, it's been happening to me like damn near every other night. And I've joked about before, like the succubus, like some sort, it's like a spiritual explanation for wet dreams that some people have. And I've ironically talked about it before because I didn't believe in it. But right now, it's starting to get a little fishy, dude. I might need to, because it might be a ghost sucking me off in the dead of night. I might need to call a priest or some sort of exorcist to come down here and dispel the phantasmal hose so I can get a good night's rest without my spinal fluid being drained out of my balls by some sort of spectral entity. Here's a question I got. Hey, Gerbie, I'm a 15-year-old high schooler, and I've been struggling with all the news about Russia and Ukraine. This was sent to me a while ago while this was first popping off. It really has me debating if I will even have a future, as well as if America will still be a thing when I'm older. Sometimes it makes me want to throw all my morals out the window and spank my monkey like crazy, but for now, I just move day by day. I'm wondering if I'm overreacting and should keep fighting the good fight, or if my fear is well placed. Thanks in advance. For more context, all this stress started when I downloaded Twitter. I don't know if I should do the ignorance is bliss approach and delete Twitter, or if it's better for me to learn how to deal with and handle what's going on in the world. Okay. I found this interesting because I've had similar experiences growing up. The internet, making you freak out about shit and making you doubt everything. Like, when I was super young, I remember there was, the whole 2012. The world was going to end in 2012. And I think I went down some internet rabbit holes regarding that. And I was just deathly afraid the world was going to end. And there are other examples. Even during quarantine, I had this to a certain extent. Because people were, everything was going crazy. So, in regards to this question, it's just something, not specifically with this issue, but it's something I related to. And I'm not going to talk about that issue specifically because I'm not really super educated on geopolitics. I would imagine if he's doubting that America will still be a thing, he's probably thinking Russia, because we're backing Ukraine, will retaliate and bomb America or something. I don't know. So, yeah. I'm wondering if I'm overreacting. I should keep fighting the good fight if my fear is well placed. You're overreacting, and you should keep fighting the good fight. All of this stuff, I mean, look, when you said throw all my morals out the window and spank my monkey, if you really think about it, like, it's a crazy connection to make when looking at the geopolitical state of the world and then somehow using that to justify beating off. It's sort of a crazy connection that only an addict could create to justify fueling their bad habits. I've seen this argument so many times. I talk all the time about problems that are going on. How I'm not really on the macro scale optimistic about the future of the world, specifically of the Western world. There are so many problems that I've talked about in length that affect me personally, but using all of this to justify giving up or delving all the way into escapism in that way, I think is goofy. And I've seen people talk about it like, we're doomed, the West is doomed, it's all over, you may as well just play your video games, beat off, do what you gotta do, keep on coping. It's like, no, I am not on that side at all. Because it only makes it worse. Doing that genuinely only, you think you're just like sedating yourself because of this awful world and it will end and you're just chilling until it ends. That's not what's happening. Because you don't have peace. Continuing to cope, you're just driving yourself crazy because reality always catches up. People who constantly engage in this escapism, constantly playing video games, whacking off, just coping, not doing anything, being neat, or just like working away like an automaton and coming home and coping. It's not a happy way to live. These things get old really fast, to a point where it doesn't even work as an emotion. It doesn't even stop you from thinking. So this advice to keep coping is bad. Because there's psychological research to back this. It's called repressive coping. That's the psychological term. And it leads to early death. It drives you crazy. So yeah, using this to overreact, spank my monkey, fighting the good fight. Yes, you have to keep fighting the good fight. That's your only option. Even if there are genuine concerns there, it doesn't matter. Nobody can predict the future. It's such a lame excuse. All it is a manifestation of resistance. Resistance because you're scared of trying and failing. That's all it is. That's all it is. You're not, you might be a little concerned about what with the future, what may happen, but what's really going on is that it's a manifestation of resistance because you don't want to try. Because that's resistance is implicit with everything that you should do. This is from The War of Art. It's a recommended book I think you should read. Anything that will lead to your development, anything that will lead to your growth, your long-term happiness, there is implicit resistance. Like a devil in your head, twisting the truth to make you not want to do it, to drive you away from betterment, from your goals, from the light. It's there always. Happens every time, I want to start a new hobby. Happens every time I want to make one of these videos. Happens every time I want to read before going to bed instead of reaching over, grabbing my phone and just accessing an infinite amount of entertainment, information. It's always there. And giving into it only makes your life worse, no matter what way you try to justify it, even if these things are real. You think not facing them will make you happier? It won't. It won't. There's never, as far as I'm aware, there's never going to be a technology, a level of escapism so strong that you can keep on using it and you won't be able to still feel. That reality still won't catch up to you. It always will, At first, when you start playing a new game, or when, those few seconds when you're whacking off, you might not be thinking about anything. But you keep on playing that game, and that, there's no new information anymore. You can't stop your thoughts. You're not running away from something doesn't help. And here's the thing. I don't know my my position on like free will or determinism, like whether or not you could just try and everything will work out, whether or not you can try your hardest and still fail. Honestly, I'm leaning to the side where yes, you can try your hardest and still fail. That's kind of what I believe. I know there are probably mixed views about that in my audience, but even if that is the case, trying your hardest and failing is still better than not trying at all. Because not trying at all, it simply is a worse mental state. Constantly coping. It's truly, not trying to degrade you because I have stuff like this all the time, but it's truly wild. You're trying to use the Russia-Ukraine conflict as justification to beat your dick. Really think about that. You're trying to use, and there's all sorts of stuff like this. Things going on. All it is just your mind, your lower self, trying to use this information to keep you from doing what you have to do. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You don't know the future. You should not give up. You should definitely continue to fight the good fight. Yes, I talk about these problems all the time, but I am not a doomer. I am not fatalistic. I am not pessimistic. I am not, a defeatist. I just talk about these things, and they do impact me, and they are real, and they do suck, but that's that. Coping is the worst option, because you can only cope for so long, and then it's just worse. So there you go, dog.